Hello and welcome to Wellness. This is Tamara Williams, Coach T at New Me with Coach T. We are on day 4 of series 2 of Welcome to Wellness, and today we have another fantastic guest. Today's guest is Meghan Jackson. She is the founder of Joyful Mud Puddles. Her parenting coaching is focused on supporting parents, guiding them from feelings of overwhelm and frustration towards confidence and peace, all centered around the Word of God. She uses a combination of experiential activities and gentle parenting techniques while working with families both online and in person. She also writes a blog and has a podcast about life, parenting, and homeschooling with her 3 adventurous boys. Welcome, Meghan. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much.
So tell me a little bit, what kind of led you to get into parenting coaching?
Oh man, my story is one of complete transformation. Because a few years ago, our family was just like at rock bottom. It's one of those, like I had had a second miscarriage. I had 3 young boys who needed my attention,
Mhm.
and our family business was going through some big changes in transition, and I just had nothing left to give. I was at the end of myself, and there's no time to pause and heal while still trying to go and live and go through the motions. And it was beginning to take a toll on me. The
Mhm.
neighbors were complaining, my parents are like, something's got to give, something has to change, you cannot, everyone's noticing. So I prayed a lot about it, and we decided, originally everyone's suggestion was put your kids in school so you can get a, offload something so you have some time to get working on yourself. And that just didn't feel right for us. I would do that if I had to, but if we could keep them home longer, that's what we wanted. So I kept thinking, well, maybe something in the way I'm parenting
Hmm.
could change, just to make it smoother and have more peace at home. So I did take some online courses, some in person, because I needed that accountability.
Okay.
Because otherwise, it would be like a half done course that, no one's checking up on you and you try
Right.
to do those. So the transformation in our family was so huge that when things like that happen, you just can't keep it to yourself. It's like, oh my gosh, look what happened. And
Uh-huh.
I thought, I just felt like this. Wanted to offer the support I wish I had when I needed it most to other moms. And so that's what led me into becoming a parenting coach myself.
So what are some of the techniques that you give with your clients? There are a lot of moms and dads right now, especially with everything that's going on COVID. Things are really stressful right now, even more so than usual. So what kind of techniques can you give parents who are kind of feeling that overwhelm?
It's funny because we just did a whole episode on my podcast about dealing with the overwhelm.
Really?
And yeah, the first key is mindset, because so much of parenting has to actually do with the parent themselves. So
Mm.
I can give you all sorts of strategies to try with your kids, but it's what you're bringing to the relationship that's going to make the biggest impact. So focusing on shifting your mindset to being more positive. If you're really down and feeling like everything's going to be a disaster, then that's what you're going to get
Hmm.
in your day. So
Mhm.
you really got to write down. Journaling is a huge, powerful thing. So writing down, what do you believe about yourself, your situation, what's going on? And then rewriting that script that you're feeding yourself, either through quotes or truths or verses, whatever, works with you. You got to rewrite what you're telling yourself to shift your mindset to being one of believing in yourself and believing that you can do this and that it's going to be a better day. Once your mind is set and you've got that energy you're bringing into your family, then the next one for parents is to work on self-care, because you can't give when you're on empty,
Right.
and you need to fill your cup before you can fill others. And I know that people are busy, so it's not Like if you can have free time and you can go to the spa, that's fantastic. But reality is you need to find those tiny little things that are going to help you to bring joy back into your life and to bring rest and peace. And even if that means like cranking up the tunes to something that brings you joy, it's going to benefit your kids too. They're going to have fun and dance around. Focus for 30 seconds on your own breath. Just that reflection. Okay, what do I need in this moment? I love to suggest setting a timer if you're new to this for every hour or 2 hours during the day. And when it goes off, just check in with yourself. What do I need in this moment? Because when we're stressed and we're overwhelmed and we're busy, we just keep rushing through the day. And then you snap and realize, oh man, it's because I was starving, but I forgot to eat, or I got through the day and I didn't even get to the bathroom, like whatever it is, you need to check in on yourself, offer yourself care and empathy and forgiveness for whatever you're going through. And then for helping with the overwhelm, you need to work on some positive coping skills for yourself. And again, everything you're doing for yourself, you're modeling that for your children. You're teaching them that they need to care for themselves throughout the day so that they don't have meltdowns, like recognizing when you're tired, when you're hungry. That is so much of the issues that parents deal with their kids. So coping skills are any strategy that you use to help you manage and deal. And we all know that a lot of them are negative. I mean, that scrolling on your phone, trying to check out on life, overeating, or, whatever it is that you're coping with, we want to find some positive, healthy ones to help manage that stress. So some people love yoga or Pilates. That really speaks to them. Meditation is a great one. Focusing on breathing is another one. And there's different types too. You want to find some things that help you relax. And that could also be coloring, going for a walk, listening to music, even curling up with some soft textures, But then you also want to make sure you're getting in some physical coping skills, the ones that with movement. So getting out for walks or dancing or whatever it is, even heavy, hard work, which I think our society has lost touch with all the modern conveniences. Just physically doing something that you feel like you accomplished and got through that mountain of laundry or that pile of dishes just is a sense of accomplishment and good for your body too. Yeah. And then there's also distracting skills, which are ones to take your mind off the overwhelm. And that could be a hobby, whatever your hobby is, get the whole family involved. If it's gardening or puzzles or even talking to somebody else, just takes your mind. Listening to music is another good one too. Take your mind off your worries.
Right.
And then finally, the other coping skill that you need to focus on is just processing, because it's fine to distract your mind, but really you want to get to the heart of the issue and actually work through your problems. And if that means reaching out to a coach or journaling or even just picking music to meet your mood, you're putting thought into your feelings. You're sitting with those feelings and you're doing something with that constructively. It could even be drawing or painting. People who process and think about what they're going through find they have more transformation and get through it better than just pushing it down and ignoring it all the time. And lastly, to deal with overwhelm, I really suggest getting in community, because a lot of the times we feel like you're in this alone and that no one else is dealing with you. You couldn't possibly understand what I'm going through. You don't get my situation. And really, we're all going through it together, especially this crazy year that we're all dealing with. Yeah. So when you reach out and your group is a perfect way. Just type it in. I'm sure like everyone in your group is going to jump on and be like, I get it. This is what worked for me. I totally thank you for posting. You're going to get that, because when you reach out to anybody and just realize that you're not alone, others are going to come in and help encourage you and even offer practical solutions and help. So those are just some of the big ones that I suggest.
Yeah, those are all very good ones. So tell us a little bit. You work with parents in group settings, correct? So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
how your group classes work.
Well, I found, like I said, that being part of community really was the heart. I offer individual coaching as well, which is great when you have like a specific thing that you want to work through. But just being part of that community, hearing other suggestions, what worked for different types of families, makes you feel like you know more than you think, because now you're able to offer suggestions to someone else and you're like, whoa, I thought I was a terrible parent, or I couldn't do this, but really I've got some tricks that might help someone else. And it boosts your confidence in yourself and also helps you feel like you belong. That village seems to have disappeared a lot with technology and with our busy lives and with the world the way that it is this year. You really need to reconnect with that village and find people that are like-minded, that are going to build you up and encourage you, to spur you on, and to be accountable to as well, because they're going to check up on you and ask you how that thing went last week. And you're
Mhm.
like, oh, I actually have to do something about it. I can't just ignore my problems. I can't wallow in pity. So we love doing group coaching
Mhm.
for the parenting courses that I do, because a lot of it too, I love to do hands-on. Like we do a bit of role play.
Okay.
And so you need more people to deal with that, because role play is an interesting one. Some people hate it. And they're like, no, no, that's not for me. I don't want to do it.
Oh, that's
So
why.
I try to, yeah, is you feel on the spot and it's like so awkward, especially on Zoom. It's very different. But then getting, feeling what someone else is feeling
Mhm.
really helps you, because I do the role play I do is helping you understand how your kids feel
Oh,
in situations, and then it hits home. Because if I'm yelling at you on the screen and you're like, whoa, is that what I sound like to my kids?
mhm.
And then it kind of is like, it hits home and makes you more motivated to do something about it. So I don't really yell at people all that often, but it's just like an example. Like if you're, it just helps you see the other person's perspective a little better.
Right. And how long do your classes usually last in terms?
So mine are about an hour on Zoom, sometimes a little more if we get chatty. And it's a 9 weeks that, like, I prefer, the 9 weeks gives you a chance to practice, to change, and then to check in on how things are going. It's going to get you past that short 4 weeks and really have some motivation to keep going with it. But I have also tried offering a membership for people who are like, 9 weeks is a bit intense. I want ongoing long term care. So it's what we do in my Facebook group. And we're going to be starting a membership um, for that too, just so that it's more monthly. And that's for people who want the ongoing care as well.
So, what are some of the outcomes that your clients are getting after completing your program?
Oh, it's amazing. The Basically what I'm finding is everyone's like, "Wow, we're fun again.
Hmm.
There's more joy. They're laughing." We Somewhere along the line, I just got into, being a mom, parenting, and trying to do all the stuff, and the joy got sucked out, and it was just now nagging all the time. So they're finding that they're enjoying being with their kids. Everyone's more calm and peaceful. So then when there are bumps in the road, they know that they can handle it. So there's that confidence piece in the parent that, like, I've got this. I know what I'm doing now. I can handle it. We're going to get through this. And that there's just more peace. It's more calm. It's more enjoyable. And then you really can find that you can try things that you really wanted to do, but felt like it was never going to happen. So they're reaching out, they're being more adventurous, and they're stretching themselves to try new things that they just didn't even see were possible before.
Wow, what an awesome gift that is to have that
Yeah.
freedom and joy again. That's great. Do you ever work with the children directly with your coaching?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. My son and I started a full program for children,
Okay.
and he was my co-mentor because what we found is all these coping skills we talk about are great.
Hmm.
But sometimes when kids are always hearing from adults, oh, just take a deep breath, it sounds to them like, oh my gosh, you're always like nagging at me. Now I have more to do. And it sounds disapproving, even if it's not meant that way. So
Right.
what we wanted was a chance for kids to be able to share, just hear it from another child, like, hey, this is what works for me. And it actually does work. Our parents aren't just kind of feeding us some lies, like, this actually works, here's what worked for me. And then they can get together, and again, that sense of community, do something fun together with each other. And then I'm also leading it too and sharing with them. So we work through mindset, mindfulness, coping skills, and communication with a group of kids.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is.
And so, what age groups do you typically work with as far as the children are concerned?
I find the kids one works best for sort of 7 to 12.
Okay.
Um, but for the younger kids, there are some in there. Even my youngest joins us sometimes. It's more like a family environment because I figure that like the family pays once and they're all around the screen or on different iPads in the same house, but it's really more of getting the whole family involved.
Okay.
and and then for the older ones too, we try to make it more for them, but I can see how it would benefit to have like a specific teen version, like they do come in, they get involved,
Mhm.
but some of the games and activities, like, you got to hit the middle age group there. But it was really neat seeing how whole families were getting involved, trying to work through the activities and like the homework side of things. Not really homework, but stuff to do at home.
Uh-huh.
Because one dad, I heard from one mom say that because of the work we were doing, her husband was actually using these techniques with his employees. So
Really?
it's transferable because we were talking about communication and how to be respectful and empathetic when you hear and talk to other people. And he's like, so I got in this situation with one of my employees and I was actually remembering what we were doing at home with the kids.
Wow,
And so, just a lot of it's transferable to any relationship.
that's great.
I find somehow in parenting, like, we talk a lot about relationships in business and marriage and friends, but then somehow society has got this parent child thing that it's not a relationship. It's that you're talking down to your kids and you're bossing them around, and that they're just little sponges and you need to tell them what to do. And you forget that they're humans too,
Hmm.
that they are people too. And when you treat them more like people, and you focus on, okay, how would I want to be treated in this situation? Is that how I would want to be talked to?
Right,
Then that changes so much of the parent child relationship when you actually start treating them like you would want to be treated.
right. What are some tips that you can give for parents who are still trying to adjust to either homeschooling or e-learning temporarily, and that's kind of never been a space that they've really operated in? What type of tips can you give to those parents?
That is definitely a big one. We've been homeschooling forever, and I do offer homeschool coaching. So I try to encourage families to focus on connection first,
Okay.
because when a child feels connected and safe and calm, then learning is so much easier because they're not stressed out, they're not worried, they're not anxious. The learning's going to happen much easier, and you'd be surprised at how much learning can happen when you're not even focusing on like the workbooks and the worksheets and the math,
Right.
because you're just doing fun things, and it's like you're sneaking learning in through baking, through board games, through reading. So if your child is really, really pushing hard, take a short break and just do something fun so that they really want to connect with you. Also, try not to take it too personally. Your child, if they've been used to being in school and now they're trying to see you and you're trying to teach them, their version in their mind of what a teacher is, but you're mom. So now you're mom and you're trying to be my teacher too. And now you're like mixing roles in their head that so a lot of deschooling has to happen. You got to change your mindset of what is learning, what are our priorities for our family this year. Even write those down, because if your goal is to make sure that they stay on top of the curriculum so that they can go back to school when you feel comfortable, versus a family who's like, I think we're in this for the long term, and maybe we don't have to see, we might not go back to school. Your approach is going to be so different. So find out what your values are, what your goals are, and work towards that. But also try to keep in mind that you don't have to recreate school at home. It looks very different. You're at home now, and learning is going to happen in spite of you. So do keep focusing on these social skills, on the character development, because those often are more of a priority for families. And the academics, they can catch up. It's learning how to learn and learning how to deal with stress and learning how to do things even when you don't know how or you don't want to. Those are what you're teaching. And every bump along the road is an opportunity to practice those things. It's a chance to practice problem solving. It's a chance to practice getting along with others. So it's just it's a big mindset change. And then also, real practically speaking, talk to your teachers. Let them know what's going on in your home. Let them know that you're trying, and because they've got wonderful tips. I mean, they just want to see your child succeed. They're struggling just as much with the change and the technology that they were thrown at. They didn't plan this for you. So try to keep an open communication and know that everyone's just trying their best, and it's hard for everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Meghan. This has been a wealth of information. I'm sure our moms that are listening are going to be hitting replay several times on this video.
Yeah.
Awesome information. So if any of our viewers want to connect with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
I'm on all social media as Joyful Mud Puddles, and that's also my website. So it's joyfulmudpuddles.com, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and everywhere else you can find me.
Great. Thank you so much, Meghan. Enjoy speaking with you, and thank you for all your helpful tips. This has been Coach T. This has been another episode of Welcome to Wellness. Until next time, stay beautiful, stay powerful, and keep transforming. Have a wonderful day.